Hey everyone, welcome to Unaka Gear Co. I'm Brad. Today we are going to be installing one of our V2 premium transit roof racks on this transit trail van right here. So we're going to dive into it and get started. Oh man, these boxes are so tight. This is the fun part. Okay, so we are unboxing. I'm gonna go ahead and pull out the wind fairing. We'll place this right here. All right, first step that we are going to take is we're going to begin pre-installing the hardware on our brackets. So I'm going to go ahead and take out those brackets that need them. And if you haven't already printed out your installation manual, go ahead and grab that so you can follow along. Make sure we don't miss any steps. Okay everyone, so we have completed the first steps of pre-installing all of the hardware on our brackets. So we've got our double T-nut on our feet. We've got our bolts and single T-nuts in the corner brackets for the rear crossbar. We have also went ahead and pre-installed all of the bolts for our side plates on the front and rear. Now, one thing to make sure, the bolt length is different on this side plate than it is for the brackets. So make sure that you pay close attention and use the shorter bolt, which is 5/8 on these, and use the predetermined holes. So next step that we are going to take is prepping the roof of the van. So we're going to go up here and start pulling out the plugs necessary, and then we will begin mounting the feet. So we're going to move on up now. Okay everyone, now that we're up here on the roof, we are going to remove these plugs from each of the mounting positions. On this van, we're going to take all 4 of the feet out. And the best way that we found to do this is if you have a sharp tool, you come up here and just get this started, cut around. We'll not cut the paint on the van. One thing we have discovered many times, the roof does not perfectly align with the pre-threaded insert here. So we'll have to take either some tin snips and cut away a little bit of the roof, or take a Dremel to remove or grind out some of this to have perfect access for the bolt to go through. So it looks like on this one we will have to trim a little bit, but if you get lucky you won't have to do much. So we'll go ahead and repeat this process for all of the feet up here. Okay, so we're going to clean this hole up a little bit. We'll use the Dremel to open this, and then we're going to make sure that we sand the edges and file these down and get it nice and clean so we can seal it with some paint and make sure that we don't get any potential rust issues. But we're going to open this up now. Make sure if you get metal shavings anywhere that you take extra care to get those up, so that way you don't have rust on your van. All right, we'll move to the next one. Okay, now that we have our holes cleared, opened up, prepped, and sealed, we're going to pre-install the feet. So we're just going to take the M8 hex bolt and one of the bonded washers with the foot. We'll get this threaded in here and just go finger tight. We're going to repeat this for each of the feet. Now the key is we want to make sure that these are loose, because we need to be able to jiggle this around if necessary as we set the width of the rack. So we're going to keep those very loose. All right, next step, we are going to begin to install our side rails. We're going to take these internal splice plates, or inside channel splice plates, and get them preset. So we're going to fish that through the channel about halfway and tighten the first side. Now, when we install these, we put this on the bottom channel and the inside channel. This will help with minimizing potential interferences with brackets and other add-ons. So we're gonna set it like this. And again, this is gonna be on the bottom and inside. So it's gonna be in this orientation. We will slide them into place and just kind of have that resting. I grab my other bar and slide it on. Match them up together. And then we will go ahead and tighten this up. Once these are tight, I'm going to get that bottom one in a second. The next part is going to be measuring from the front of the bracket to the front of the rail to get your measurement for the length of the rack. Now this is a target measurement. It's called out in our manual. So depending on your preference or what you want on your final position, you may slightly move it, but make sure this measurement from here to the end of the rail matches on both sides. So that's going to be the next step. Okay, now we are setting the width of the rack to make sure everything is square. In order to do this, we have our crossbars set. We recommend using one at least in the middle, the front and the rear to get the spacing the same all throughout. And what you'll do is you will line up the crossbars to be flush with the 80/20 side rail, and then make sure your measurements from the front or the rear match identically from side to side. So we're going to get this set from the front to this one, same to here, and we will tighten these down. Now keep in mind, remember we said keep these loose because you may have to adjust and slide just like so to get the rack square. So we are working on that now, and we'll repeat this for the whole rest of the rack. Okay everyone, we have our width set correctly and we are ready to move to the next step. In this point in the process, we strongly recommend, if you are installing solar panels, to go ahead and install those now before you put your side plates on. So the next step normally would be putting solar on. We're gonna move to another portion, but what we'll do now is we will go back and tighten and torque the button or the flange screws on our feet, and then we will go and torque the hex bolts for the roof rack brackets and die core. Here we go. So now we are going to die core around the base of the feet just to ensure no water penetration. And we're going to do this as neatly as we can. Some people will use tape around the edge to kind of keep things crisp. I have not been able to do it cleanly with the tape, so I don't use that anymore. I use the self-leveling die core. Seems to work good. And we'll just put a good bead around all sides of the foot. And the best way to access the back side of the bracket is making sure you don't have the side plate on yet. So we'll get that in there good. Put a little dollop on the top of the hex bolt after it's been torqued, and we'll repeat this for each foot. Okay, we are on the step now where we're going to install the side plates. So we will install the back plate from the back opening on the 80/20 channel. We'll do the front plate from the front. I'm going to line this up to where the edge is flush with the back of the 80/20. So it's going to be nice and clean, and I'll just snug this up. I'm not going to tighten them all the way yet because I need to get the front plate lined up with this one. And then we'll get this front one on here. I like to make sure that the top is nice and straight there, straight across. So I'll get this in place. After that's tightened, we're going to get the tapped side plate splice connector, and we'll put that through. I left it down there. I'm going to grab it real fast. All right, so we're going to take the the tapped side plate splice connector and line it up. Now, if you have an interference, which is what I'm experiencing right now with this solar crossbar, you can omit using this splice connector. You'll just have these bolt holes will be open. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this crossbar out of the way so that way I can get this to line up. And then we're going to go back and tighten each one of these bolts. All right, everyone, we are moving to the final wind fairing installation. So make sure that you have a teammate if possible here. You don't want to drop the fairing down the front of the van, bust your windshield. That'd be super sad. So we're going to get this started, hold it in place. You'll grab the little square nut, and we're going to get that captured in the side plate channel. We're going to do one, get it kind of threaded here so that way we're not going to drop the fairing. Just get that in position, and then we're going to go over to the other side. Now sometimes this fit will be very tight, so you may have to give it a pretty good pull to get the lip over the other side. Luckily Matt is incredibly strong and he handled that. So he's getting his started, so I'm going to start doing the bottom on my side. Now we've made another video where, as you can see, I'm having to reach in here. If you have a solar panel already installed and you can't get in here, there's another video you can reference on how to create basically a sliding rack assembly out of this to get your fairing on and slide it back. So you can check that other video out. But right now, we are getting the fairing where we want it. And we will angle this down as needed and then get it tightened up. Okay, the last step of the process is we're going to go back and just double check everything is torqued, and then we'll put this end cap with the self-tapping screw on the back just for aesthetics to close out the end of the 80/20 channel. And then just for reference, with putting just this roof rack on with 2 people, this is taking us, we started at about 9:30 and it's 10:40 now, so just a little bit over an hour with 2 people and some scaffolding or ladders. So the install process is very quick. Now, if you add deck panels or solar panels, it does add some time, but very easy install, and thank you for watching.